Should LGBTQ culture be taught in primary school if you're overseas, or middle school or elementary school?
The fact that certain things are being taught.
So what's your opinion? Do you feel like it should be taught or not?
Right.
Not even that. Do you think like it should be taught or not? Because you sound like it should be taught because we're already teaching the Latin.
So Tess, you were saying something earlier about LGBTQ and then this etc. Right?
No, that wasn't me. That was Chisholm.
Oh,
I was saying
okay,
that we are missing the point that there are, so yes, there's lesbian, there's gay, there's bi, but there's also trans and queer. Like, we're not talking about the people who feel like they're trans and queer at such a young age. So, like, what do we do?
I think we've already covered this. I think that most people have agreed that elementary school, to early middle school, is too young of an age for anybody to even think about transition. Like, your hormones haven't even fully kicked in yet. So, like the parents, like you say, you have parents that you see on the news that their 5-year-old is transitioning,
Right.
and their 5-year-old doesn't even know how to basic, how to tie a shoe, like basic stuff.
No, yeah, I was just wondering because, we've been talking about sexuality. A lot, sometimes it's not like
gender.
Yeah, it's gender. So I wanted to touch more on that.
And
should they discuss gender then instead of sexuality?
And the thing about gender though is that there's not enough science to back it up, because we haven't done enough research because think about like the way they make rubrics in schools, right? Mm-hmm. They make it based off of factual evidence that's been taught worldwide. And even now, we still going through the curriculums, we still see that things that I was taught when I was in elementary school, they're not teaching anymore. Right. Because they've come to a consensus that there's new material out now that the scientists have learned. So I think with like gender issues and things like that, there's not enough scientific evidence to give, to give a curriculum board.
I think there's enough. I disagree as well.
Okay.
So I'll say this. Can I say something?
Hold on. I'm gonna have you. Why do you disagree?
I disagree because I feel like, so.
And we're talking about transitioning. We're talking about
when you're born, there are people who can be born with both parts.
Definitely.
A hermaphrodite.
Okay.
And so that shows you in itself that you could be confused. So let's say you're born with one part, but inside your chromosomes or your hormones are exuding a different feeling. How do you describe that? People need to be taught that how to deal with those feelings and how to maneuver them. And they get them at a young age.
And also that basically a dick is a clit. It's elongated. So you feel me? That plays a role. The male, the female, the masculine, the femininity is all one, but we choose to separate them and make them something else.
Exactly.
Getting rid of the family, the whole idea of man and woman is not right. I mean, like, of course, I guess that's normalized. Whatever. But as far as pronouns, having to have a scientific background, we're talking about people's feelings. We don't need science to prove someone's feelings. This is thoughts. These is people's lives. This is what they go through every day. This is something that can't really be brought out and put under a microscope to see, that's not what it is.
And it's not just one person, it's
a
lot of people.
And feelings should be taught because a lot of us, we don't know how to understand our feelings. And that's what really should be taught. It's not about the science, it's not about that kind of curriculum.
And also feelings change too. That's why we're coming to, feelings. And when I say science, right, I'm talking about gender, right? I'm talking about transitioning. And like you said, they're hermaphrodites, the people, or I don't think they like that term. They're, what is it, intersex or I don't know. It's a specific term.
It's similar.
Yeah, okay. Some people don't like it, they feel offended. But there's hermaphrodites, people who were born with different genitalia, well, both at the same time. And there's not enough research behind that. That's what I'm saying. Even though there's feelings, but there's not enough research behind that yet because it's kind of a touchy subject.
But if
That's
you're
what I was
born a
saying, but
hermaphrodite,
that's not even
how are you
true.
to choose which sex
Even
you
that.
are?
Your
Yeah,
parents,
your
your
parents
parents
Like
choose
Native
when they cut it
Americans
off as-
recognize 5 different sexes.
All right, I'm
before Europeans ever got it. Like that's a fact. It's in research. But the norm is the man and the woman. So the only reason for education is to reproduce functioning human beings in the society that is here.
Yeah,
Right.
That's the only reason for education.
for sex education, really.
Totally agree.
That's the only reason for education, period. To build functioning human beings in society as it is today. So, if as I'm listening to this conversation, and shout out to you, as I'm hearing it, I'm thinking like, damn, even with the point that Tess made, like, is it hard for us to make room for us to explain that it's likely for you to not be born a man or a woman? Like, definitely. There's a middle ground to it. It's possible. How are you supposed to feel? Should you feel like the Hunchback of Notre Dame because you have both? You know what I'm saying? Should you feel like you're abnormal because you have both? Because there's a lot of people, more people that have it, they're just not talking about it because it's not the norm. So should it be taught? Possibly. Should it be? How? I don't know.
And how early?
How early? At what point? Because at what point it's okay for you to teach a kid how to shoot a gun? At what point is it okay for a lot of other things that we deem a kid too innocent to be exposed to yet?
At what point do we tell people how to feel in school?
Exactly.
That's not a question.
I think-
How to feel. You said how to feel?
I think that
But it's not telling them how to feel. What if they feel that way, but you're only teaching one way in school?
I mean,
I
we're
get-
gonna recognize
Exactly.
your way, but we're not gonna, you know what I'm
We
saying?
don't
Like,
have-
it is what
So
it
you're
is.
saying
Like,
it's your-
But that's
That's
the
what
point.
I'm
You
doing.
that's the point. You contradicted yourself
How am I
because
contradicting
you
myself?
said, "What about white supremacy?" So
I'm saying,
if
that's
white
a way
people
of life.
continue their mindset
We
where,
sat in school
well,
and
white
listened to
is
white
right, so
history
we're
our
gonna
whole
only
lives,
teach
and we were okay
white
with it.
history because
I don't think
That's
that's
gonna
gonna
change.
change.
Hold on.
Say it one more
It
time.
can
What's your point?
Guys.
It can change.
Guys.
definitely change.
Okay.
I think that
Yeah, like
even with what you were saying earlier, and I get what you're trying to say, bro. I
So
just
what I'm
feel
trying
like,
to say?
I feel like yes, when it comes to feelings, if I'm to be very honest, I don't believe on teaching feelings. I believe on teaching what's factual and what's actual. Everybody's feelings change depending on what's going
But
on.
it get deeper. Who determined what's factual? Because
And
it
that's
might
a-
be a
but
certain
that's
group
where you're
That's
getting it
true.
wrong. It's
Right.
not
Right.
only
Yeah,
feeling;
put
it's
the curriculum together.
science.
Just like back in the
Being-
1930s in motherfucking Germany, Hitler put the curriculum together and them niggas learned Nazi history. And guess what? The motherfuckers turned into
They
Nazis.
believe that
I
shit.
They
get
believe that
No, I
shit, but
agree
a
with
certain
you, but
person
hear me.
influenced the curriculum that they understood.
I
You see what I'm
hear
saying?
that. I hear that, and I don't want to go into too much of a deep dive for me to explain that to you, bro. At some point, even now that we fight for Black Lives Matter, that we're trying to push Black history into the curriculums.
Right.
At some point in time, we're going to be the dominant species that is going to be predominantly just Black history being taught, and we're gonna.
That's not the truth.
No,
That's not
at
the
some-
truth at all.
We had to learn Black
I
history
agree, not
ourselves
learn.
through our
That is not the
ancestors, and that's all I'm saying.
Bro, we are still being taught
What do
flawed history.
what Black history? Exactly, that's
All
what
of
I'm saying.
it.
What the
But
fuck?
the point
Our
is-
real Black history, I learned this from my ancestors, bro.
You're missing the point I'm getting at.
You're not making your point.
The minority becomes a popular.
Majority.
No, it doesn't. Not in education in America. It does not.
No, you're speaking on based on the
minority
time that you're
becomes the
stuck in
majority.
right now.
Bro, what, go to a time in which
There was
the
a time that
the minority
America.
became
Hold
the
on,
majority.
hold on, hear me,
It's
bro.
never happened in
Yo,
history.
Can we not? Can we
Native
stop?
Americans.
There was a point in time that America was Native American, and they were the majority in America. There was a point in time that white
Kill them
people.
off.
hold on.
But there was
guess
a point.
what?
You're missing a point. You're trying to prove a point without listening to anybody else, bro. Shut the fuck up. Like, there's a point in
It's on
time.
camera, bro.
That's
Relax.
fine.
Cause nobody got your point yet.
No,
He's getting
but
emotional.
you're going back and forth and not
I'm
listening.
not.
Okay, guys.
Nobody got your point yet.
Hey, listen. It's like, let's chill. I can't finish your statement. Nobody interrupt. Then I let both finish
The
your
point
statement.
I'm trying to get across is I get what you're saying as far as like feelings go. I just feel like at some point in time there has to be a line drawn between speaking, like catering to everybody's feelings, because you can't cater to everybody's feelings. And there's also going to be a point in time where you can acknowledge that you're in the room, but the main topic is still addition, multiplication, English. That's what we're here for. All of that other stuff, yes, we can go on a deep dive with it in specialty school, whatever the case may be, or your parents can be responsible for it. But I think we're missing the point of the purpose of education is not just to learn about gender and sex. It's to also be able to learn.
Who said that?
This guy.
No one said that.
No,
Wait,
he
I'm waiting for you to get
No
the
one
point.
said that.
5 minutes ago, Bo said education is for us to reproduce and
No, I said to be a functioning human in society.
Hey,
That means learning how to get a job.
We gotta get a black and white
Right.
No, hold on. I know what Bo said. Bo said that education, the purpose of education is to be able to produce functioning human beings within society.
Okay.
He doesn't mean
And it does-
sexually.
Reproduction.
I'm okay. If I
No, I
could-
didn't mean
I think
reproduction
what
at all.
Akeem is trying to
You
say.
did use reproduction, but you might have slipped up.
No,
I
he
meant-
didn't.
I
He
think
said
that
he's
The
reproduction
point
at all.
of
He said to
education
reproduce. He said reproduce.
is
No, I didn't.
He
Produce.
said, wait, and I quote,
I
this
did not say
is what Bo
reproduce.
this is what
I
Bo
said
said.
produce.
The
He
point
said it
of
twice.
education is to produce functioning.
Yes,
Humans.
that's what he meant. We're talking literally. That's what came out of his
Hey,
mouth.
hey,
That's
make
what-
sure y'all put a
That's
freeze
what
frame.
I'm saying.
Hey,
All I'm
rewind
saying
it.
is
Get it
that-
in black
I
and
know I
white.
didn't say wrong.
Okay.
All right,
Make sure
all
y'all
right,
cash
all
that
right.
me
What I'm
too.
saying is that let's
What?
focus on what school is for and stop getting distracted by everything else.
So you're saying that
let's
if
say
you
this.
shouldn't
the
teach
question. The
feelings,
question
you
shouldn't
should
be
teach
taught, so I
facts.
don't understand.
But that's not a feeling. If someone is born with
That is a feeling.
that is not a feeling.
How?
So if
But
someone is
she
born with
just
two
said
parts,
it was
that's a
Okay,
feeling.
guys, let's.
They have the
hold on,
choice
hold on,
to
hold on.
choose if they want a
Guys,
male or a
guys.
female.
Now
Guys,
that's for you. For
hold on.
someone who is
Listen, like
is
you're-
You don't born. You're not
Wait,
born.
Wait, listen to me. Listen.
How do
we're
you know that?
specializing. Hey, Rebecca, look, we're special. We're like streamlining it. Majority of people, there's not like majority of people born into sex is like a very small percentage. Like very small.
born. What do you mean by that?
As
Born
in
with sex?
born hermaphrodite. So
I
we're
was
not,
just using that as an
yeah.
example.
So we're not talking about physical right now.
But even then,
We're talking
Malcolm
about people emotionally who want to transition, or we're talking about people who don't identify as what they're born with, so on and so forth, or we're talking about people who are comfortable in their own body.
But that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
That transitioning is not only emotional. That is science as well. He's saying it has to be backed up by science.
Why do you go to school?
Have
Hold
you
on.
done the
Hold on.
research
Why
on
do you go to
people
school?
who
Hold on,
transition?
bro. Why do you go to school? Why do you go to school?
To learn.
To learn what?
To learn education.
And to do what with it?
To be able to utilize that in my
Function in
life.
society.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what your degree is in. All I'm saying is
Biology.
that biology. Cool. When you're in class,
Ooh,
right?
this is a good
Ooh,
one. This is a
biology.
good one.
Thank you.
When you're in class and they're teaching about whatever you guys are learning about, if somebody's making an argument of, oh, you're not talking about asexual, this, or going into that deep realm of that, is that a priority to you while you're in school, while you're paying for that?
No. What I was gonna say, and I feel like what you're talking about, is the fact that I feel like it needs to be taught. It needs to be acknowledged. It doesn't have to be like in depth talked about, but it can be acknowledged. Like how everything else is acknowledged. It can be a basic, like how everything else is a basic. Like how men and women genders, so can hermaphrodites, and so can get touching the topic of sexuality, but you don't have to go deep dive into it, because honestly, 4th and 5th grade is when you really start finding yourself, because I
Having
most
crushes.
definitely was in elementary school and people were having sex already. 6th grade, somebody was pregnant. I'm just like,
Yeah.
6th grade, that's when
That shit happen. Shit happen now.
11th and 10th grade, and most
Shit
definitely in 5th grade, that's when most women start their period or their menstruals.
Yeah.
Oh, 11 10 years old.
Yes, 11 and 10 years old. So 5th and 6th grade, that's when most women start their menstruals. So at that point, you're already starting puberty. It needs to be acknowledged. It needs to be acknowledged at some point in elementary school. It doesn't have to be in kindergarten or 1st grade or 2nd grade. It can be in 4th grade and 5th grade, because at that point you're transitioning into your puberty, and that at that point you need to be acknowledged, and that's when you start acknowledging feelings.
So and I actually agree with that. Like, so
Oh,
I agree with that on the point of the fact that yes, letting children or adolescents know that these things exist for the safety, for the mental health of those actually going through going through transitions or going through those feelings, because a lot of the times, even like when I was coming up in middle school and elementary school, obviously the norm was you're either a guy or you're either male or you're either a woman, right? That was the norm. So everybody who fell in between, it was like, oh, that don't exist, that's bad, and we really fit in. Yeah, you don't fit in, and those people felt like they didn't fit in. Now, if it's universally taught by teachers, everybody from let's say 4th and 5th grade, hey, yes, there are people who are men who feel like women or who identify as women. There are people like women who identify as men. There are men who marry, there are women who marry, who are attracted to each other. Yeah, that's cool. I think that should be taught personally. But how about this? What about pronouns?
Okay, touch on something you said. I'm just saying.
Before I get the pronouns, I'll let you.
Like I said, I mean, you can't go to somebody else. I just forgot my thought. I just forgot my train of thought. I'm about to say something.
You trying to say that you're not born that way?
I was, cause you're not. They don't.
How do you know that?
Ain't no.
Are you a doctor?
Ain't no factual saying you could be born gay.
You don't know that.
Honestly,
have you
I don't
done
feel
the
like
research?
you're qualified to speak on that because you are not that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
you don't understand. But if you were, how would you feel if somebody is like, bro, you're not born that way?
At the same time, I've had. Like I said, I got a personally. I have a cousin that was.
Key question.
That's
more of a tomboy, and at a certain age, girls are kind of a tomboy. I feel like even my little sister, at some point, she was a tomboy.
Okay.
But as she's grown up, I've noticed like that's just
You
her.
say
That's just her. As she's grown up over time, I don't feel
like. But is she a tomboy or is she?
Now she is. But at the time, it was just being a tomboy.
But is she lesbian?
Yeah.
Okay, so
she was always.
She wasn't always a lesbian. She was finding herself.
Why was she a tomboy?
But are those synonymous?
Can we say this? Can we say this?
It's not synonymous.
Can we say before, like I guess pre-puberty, like men and women tend to kind of be the same. Of course, they tend to divert when puberty starts to really hit. But overall, it's like guys are playing with girls are playing with guys.
Even that, it depends on your environment.
Yeah, and
I believe that wholeheartedly. That's why this argument. Well, I'll let you finish.
Yeah, but I get it depends on the environment too. But like if you really sit down, because I know it can be taboo, and when things are taboo, then you tend to structure things in certain ways. Right. So if you grew up in my household, you structure where girls play with dolls, guys play with cars, and it's structured. But when you actually see, if you let kids just do what they do, they tend to play with whatever they want to do. And there are guys who the majority guys will gravitate towards the trucks and the cars, things that are more objective. And the majority of girls will transfer. I know you feel it's learned.
No, it's not that we feel it's learned. It's definitely learned.
It's definitely learned.
Sure. Like I can say I have 2 little brothers under the age of 10. And literally, if my dad sees like one of them with a doll, he'll be like, "Bro, put that down. Like, what are you doing?" Like, that's conditioning. Like, that's gonna be like, "Bro, it's not okay for me to play with a doll because I'm a boy, but my sister can play with a doll because she's a girl. So I should pick up a truck. That's acceptable for me to pick up." You know.
And now if I feel like I want to play with a doll, I feel bad because I have to suppress it.
So having your male kid play with a doll, is it molding too? Like
gender.
Hold on. He got a point.
Wait, both
he got a point.
It's more influenced with our home than in school.
So having your boy child play with a doll isn't molding as well though?
How is it? No. So
she said you make him play with cars.
No.
If he plays with a doll, you say that's wrong.
I swapped it around.
You swapped it
if
around.
you let him play with dolls,
that's not molding.
That's not molding.
It's molding. Does that make
You're letting him do what he wants.
His dick in a man's ass.
But at the same time, society right now, a doll is what, feminine, right?
No, they're
boys don't learn the thing.
Did you have a Superman?
I'm talking about a doll, like a girl doll. Like stop playing with me. Stop playing with me.
It's a doll.
Stop playing with me. I'm an action figure. Like,
it is a doll. Call it what you want.
I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the episodes in which I feel like I've actually learned something, and it's made me open my mind a little bit more.
Thank you.
And I feel like listening to all of this, these children
need to be.
I don't think they're even they're not exposed to heterosexuality out of textbooks in school.
Literally.
Not out of textbooks, out of their cartoons. Yeah, we had Pippi Le Pew. That was a rapist. This nigga was kissing on another cat all day. A cat that didn't want him to kiss her back. We watched that as children. For real. For real. We watched Superman be amazing and have the lady after he's amazing, right? We watch these things, right? But let's not act like we haven't been in an uproar for the last 10, 15 years about them
Showing
including the
homosexual-
LGBT community
Yes.
in cartoons. The revamp of Rugrats has a gay mama. The twins' mama's gay.
Yeah,
So like, it's happening. I don't think it needs to be in a textbook. And that's just where I stand. Heterosexuality is not in the textbook. I've never read, I don't remember the story that convinced me that it needs to be a man and a woman. You can't quote that story that we learned in school.
That's all I was
It's
saying.
programmed.
I remember a mice and
You know
man.
why it's not programming?
It's not
So-
fair because people Malcolm saying that shit, bro.
It
It's
is
not fair
programmed.
because
It's
it's programmed. Because the same way that you feel like certain things is programming that black people are supposed to be like this.
Program.
I don't
It's
feel,
programming,
I don't
bro.
feel like it's programming
Like you,
because
everybody wants to see programming when it comes
Guys.
to some things that affect
no,
them.
but I want to know why I don't feel like it's programming. I understand where you guys are coming from, but I don't feel like it's programming because this is like the
Question:
norm.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about like a man and a woman, like us seeing that in a book. Like that's how kids. That's how you got here. That's how I got here. That's how everybody in this room
Yeah.
got here.
Period.
So like I just don't feel like it's programming. It's
Like,
more
it's
so
the
like
norm.
As a
this
baby,
is how.
as a child,
Uh-huh.
you're taking in everything you see. So
From your
subconsciously,
parents.
when you
Even-
sleep and you listen to stuff, your brain is recording it. So even though you might not see it, your brain still sees it and it's taking it in. If you're seeing and identifying certain things with each other, whether you don't want to acknowledge that it's programming, and even when it comes to music videos, cars,
But-
girls, it's
But I get what
programming.
Paul was saying.
Well, at what age are you about to start teaching your kids about the gay community,
Wait,
sir?
wait, no, that's not even that.
At what
You
age
hear
are
what
you
Bo
gonna
said though?
play,
Bo
bro?
said there's not one story that you can go back in time and be like,
Say-
these people told me that man and woman is right, and
Right.
that
There
woman and woman
is
is wrong.
no
It's not.
reason.
That's just how.
I was
I
never
get
taught
what
anything
he's
in
saying.
elementary school
Yeah.
that
Alright.
taught me that men and women are right. That I learned from my home.
Yeah.
From the home,
Exactly.
Mom and my
from your
dad.
parents,
It's
Go back to
where
that
I
from
whole
your
learned.
thing.
friends' parents.
From watching my
Somebody
parents
else that
in my
you saw in
community.
your normal
So,
life,
so
bro.
guys, what about like we've touched on that? What about like pronouns? You know, what about like somebody wanting to be called? Because honestly, to a point, I understand. Cool. If you're a man and you feel like a female, like inside, like that's your feeling, that's how you feel, and you want to be addressed as she, cool. That's out of respect, you know,
Right.
because that's what all communication is. But it comes to a point where they're taking the pronouns and going left with it.
Like what?
So like, I want like don't laugh, but I feel like I'm really a giraffe, you know, stuff like that. Or I feel like
That's a no.
I know, but I feel like my bad. I feel like I'm asexual, or like so. Don't call me like they,
Okay.
or
I think it's offensive to
Yeah.
compare people who want to be called a certain pronoun and be like, well, if I want to be called the animal, then I should be called the animal. That's
Why do you
offensive.
feel like that's offensive?
No, that is offensive.
That
Why?
is offensive.
Because
Is that offensive?
Why?
Okay.
Because it's not as normal to
Our
feel like an
pronouns-
animal, right?
Are pronouns
Why
important?
would you?
Yeah.
Why would this woman want to
Are
be
you
called an animal?
hey, be for real.
It's
Hey,
important to a certain extent. I've even learned myself a lot about people using pronouns. Like for instance, I've seen women cut off their boobs, but they still have a pussy, but they want you to call them like a dude, like what's up, my nigga, or what's up, sir. Like they want to be known as a guy because they don't have any chest. So it's kind of like I feel like this. So I want you to recognize me as this, so I don't feel weird. You know, it's kind of a respect thing. It's me acknowledging that that's how you feel. So all right, my nigga. You know, just like God's taught to me. Like dudes don't say, hey, pretty lady. Like you know, if they try to holler at me, they go, hey, shawty. You know, shawty is kind of a unisex name. But you know, hey, shawty, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't really use feminine pronouns.
You don't feel like that's an insecurity thing that you feel like you have to do that when you take
No, that's respect.
Hold on, hear me.
That word is.
It's not
It's harsh, and I'm not taking it away from how somebody feels, but if you're going to the extent of chopping us off for you to be perceived a certain way, and you yourself just said you still have that down there, and you know that you are still having that down there. Why does it matter what I perceive you as when you yourself have already accepted for yourself who you are?
It's not insecurity.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he addressed her. So
It's not
so let her-
insecurities. It's not about, oh, I feel like, oh my God, like, I don't know, I just need you to call me this because it's not, no. this is how I feel. So don't make me feel weird. You my homie. Like, just show me respect. If you're not my homie and you call me out my name, I'm gonna correct you.
You're just gonna correct.
And
That's all I want to say.
And that's it.
Because what happens if I walk
Guys,
up to a girl that ain't got no titties and I be like, yo, what's up, my nigga?
Okay,
I thought you dropped that shit tight. Them shit's flat as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
I respect that. I respect that.
What is the problem?
I respect that. What I was trying to get across is that, like, you just said if that was your homie, you don't have to do that for me to call you or respect you in that manner. The fact that you're feeling like you have to do that for me to respect you in that manner is what I'm asking. I'm not trying to be offensive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you feel like you have to do that for me to give you that respect or that acknowledgement is where I'm asking the question, yo, are you doing it for yourself? Because if I was your homie, I would still respect how you feel and still address you as such.
I have a question for you.
How you want to be addressed.
First of all, I don't think you understand what she's saying. She's not saying that the lady cut off her breasts to be acknowledged as him. She's saying that that's what she wants you to acknowledge him.
She feels like a man.
Him as him. Like that's what she wants. She didn't cut off her breast so can call her him or him or whatever. Like it doesn't matter. Or that's what she wants to be called.
I get that.
Like,
I'm speaking to
but
what
if
she said earlier.
Again,
She
but
said
I'm
that she cut
asking
that
you
off, but
if
she
somebody
still has a
yeah, because it's not easy to just.
I'm not
Why for
saying
men
that.
it's not always
It
easy
doesn't.
to just
I'm
cut off
trying
their penis.
I'm trying to understand the thought process, but I'm not saying that.
Even if she still has.
I'm quoting what she said. She said that even with her, sometimes she feels like certain people cut off this, but they still have that down there. So I'm like, okay. Let me understand, like, what's the thought process behind that?
It doesn't matter.
That's what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. You don't have to understand that.
It doesn't matter.
No, I'm saying no.
It does not matter because you don't have to understand the thought process.
But you just said 5 minutes ago. But you just said 5 minutes ago we should learn about their history.
Wait, you're not letting me finish. You're not letting me land.
I think we're going in circles, kind of. Look,
no, I want to finish what I'm saying.
I'll ask you this, Akin, right? How would you like me to address you? What pronoun would you like me to address you?
Call me my name.
Okay, but when I'm referring to you, I'm asking you.
I care about stuff.
Listen to me.
You do it.
Guys, let him. I'm talking to him.
Let her speak.
You said, what would you like for me? What would you like for you to call me? And I said, just call me by my name.
Okay, no, listen to me. If I'm referring to you in a different person, and I'm saying, yo,
blank.
He, what would you want me to say, he or she? If I'm pointing to you, referring to you.
If I identify as that, sure.
Okay,
no, so what do you want? Answer the question. Answer the question.
Look, can y'all stop and let me ask the question?
You're not answering
it. Hold on. Guys.
I feel like, what do you want to be known as?
I am a person.
Yeah.
No, are you a man or a female?
Hey, oh my God. I'm
a
person. Even when I dress my dudes, my girls, I even call my female friends my nigga. I don't attach it to a
You're
not call you my nigga.
What is
my nigga?
Answer the question.
Have you ever referred to one of your old girls that you call my nigga as? He is coming on over here.
Hey. I want one person to talk. Nobody else.
Okay, wait. Akeem.
You just heard what I just said?
Jumped in the way.
Like, nobody else talk, please. Nobody. I want to
All I'm saying is that for me,
No, I'm going to ask you again.
And
Answer it as blatantly, as simply as you can.
Okay.
Akin, I am referring to you. What do you want me to refer you to as, besides your name?
I'm a dude.
Okay, you're a dude, and if I refer to you as she all the time, how would you feel? And seriously, if I'm serious, like I don't know you, even if we're friends, and every time I talk to you and I say, yo, get her over there, how would you feel?
I would want to know why. Bro.
Okay, now
because you give out female vibes.
Yeah, okay, no.
You're wearing a pink shirt.
Now here it is. You're wearing a pink shirt.
No,
you look like Whoopi Goldberg.
Guys,
Hold on.
I'm not finished. Hold on. Listen. Listen. I'm trying to get to a point here. That's why you guys keep interrupting me. I can't get to the point.
I'm sorry.
All right, let me get to the point. Now, if I call you she, how would you feel?
I would probably want to know why.
Okay, now why would you want to know why?
Because I feel like amongst popular belief, I'm a dude, and I think you should attach that to a dude.
Wait. Listen.
We're not done.
The key point that you're refusing to say is that is how you identify.
No.
That's the key.
Wait.
That is how you. That's the reason.
No, I think you're missing something.
No,
too, bro.
you're missing.
You're missing everything.
You're missing.
Wait,
it.
I'm sorry, wait,
Hold
can I
on.
ask you a question
What's
real
up?
quick?
What's up?
When you're doing that job application, right, and they ask you your gender, what do you,
Male.
okay, right?
Right.
And some jobs, they usually ask you, what do you want to be preferred as, or pronouns.
I usually skip it.
You usually,
Oh, so
He's
they
full
call
of
you. They
shit.
call you blank. Hey,
He's
y'all
full of
Anyways,
hey, y'all
they,
see
they
blank?
put Mr. or
Hey.
Mrs. whatever to my. I usually
He's
skip
full
it.
of
I'm Mr. or Mrs.
Yeah, that's what you were
I'm
saying.
Mr. or
I'm about
Mrs.
to say,
You know
I've
what a
never
pronoun
seen
is?
that.
No,
they do have.
Hold on.
but that's what
He,
you were
she.
saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
The reason why I'm saying why is because y'all are so quick to jump to, oh, this is that. If I feel something, me personally, and I'm wrong, and there's a reason why you're looking at it a certain way, and maybe I'm out of tune with what it's supposed to be, I will ask you why.
Hey guys, as you can see, when we're talking about LGBTQ, it's a very touchy subject. It's a lot that we don't know, and it's a lot that we're still discovering. But I do know this is a discussion that everyone has to have, especially amongst your family members. I urge parents to talk to their kids about these things, and I can see that it comes to a consensus that we all think that this should be discussed in a family setting or a family household, and that we need to breed and foster all inclusivity with everyone and show love. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. There's much more hot topics coming up, and I will see you guys at the next one.